Hello, I'm Ben Spencer, Head of Programme at St George's, Bristol. You're about to listen to one of our listening room sessions recorded a few months ago in our glass studio. These are informal sessions where artists of all kinds present fresh material and talk a little about their creative process. We hope you enjoy it and look forward to welcoming you back to St George's and future listening room sessions when we reopen.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for braving the weather to come to St George's this afternoon. I'm Richard Jones, and I'll be introducing Davey. We're having a chat between the tracks, but it's going to be mainly music this afternoon, interspersed with some words. Just to start with, just a brief word about this event. The Listening Room at St George's is a series of events which are live music and talk, and it's to explore the artist's influence, their collaborations, their sound, and it's an informal way of listening to new and old work, but also having a good chat with the artist. And there'll be an opportunity for you to put some questions at the end. And a couple of great events coming up. Next Thursday, the 27th, in the evening, 8 o'clock, there's Emily Magpie, who's a fantastic multi-instrumentalist folk electro-pop artist. And then Saturday slot on March the 7th, 1:30, is Ngaio, who's best known for her work with the Bass Choir and Booty Bass, the DJ collective. And she's currently working on a new spoken word and music project, which hopefully she'll be premiering at this event. So those are two things to look out for. So, as I say, I'm Richard Jones, and I first met Davey Woodward in the mid-'80s when I was a music editor on the Bristol Evening Post, and Davey had just formed a young band called the Brilliant Corners. And I think we've been in touch over many years. And I think that when Davey asked me to introduce him, which was a great honour, but also it made me think that really Davey is one of the most, in my view, one of the most significant songwriters and lyricists of our generation. And so you're in for a real treat today. We're going to start with some music, so please give a warm welcome to Davey Woodward.
Thank you. I was out for 3 nights in a row. The children didn't know. You told them I was working far from home. Another disappointing day. Another disappointing day. I promise it won't always be this way. In the morning I'll be by your side. In the morning I'll be by your side till the day I die. Maybe I'll buy an aquarium and feed the colored fish, stroke the cat, walk the dog, do the online shopping. Maybe I'll cut those branches from the trees, so the sunlight can nourish the seas. In the morning I'll be by your side. In the morning I'll be by your side till the day I die. I was out for 3 nights in a row. The children didn't know.
Thank you.
I saw Clara's ghost walking Tata down. She told me to sing a sad lullaby about the Kansas City and the sailors who drowned. The wives looked so pretty as they cried at the quayside. I saw Clara's ghost walking Tata down. She said to me, sing a lullaby about a boy who burned all the sugar cane, and all that did remain were his shoes. He had no name, and they call it Jamaica a train. I saw Clara's ghost walking Tata down. She said to me, sing a lullaby. There are no slaves' graves in this cemetery, but there's riches here aplenty for the landowners and the gentry. And I know, 'cause it's my hometown. It's my hometown. The morning coffee was thrown in his face. A kiss, forgotten that taste. Icy path, think we lost our way. You can't remember the day of the day. Well, it's hard living with you. Well, it's hard living with you. Underwear on the window, telegram sound, the sound and the fury, exactly where I am. I saw the Buddhists burn, the villages down. I saw the carnage laugh when the bombs hit the ground. Well, it's hard living with you. Well, it's hard living with you. Oh, from the boulevard to the breakers' yards, the drunkards and the I love this Jewish girl. She had pretty brown eyes. Man, she could sing. She could really sing. My face is lined by this endless road, the black rainbows where nothing flows. Well, it's hard living with you. Well, it's hard living with you. Well, it's hard living with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Davey. That's great. And so to begin at the beginning, Davey, in the 80s, I was working with Chris Galvin, bass player from the Corners, on the Ashton Court Festival programme. Chris was doing the paste up, and we needed to go and fetch something, so I gave him a lift. And in the course of that journey, we drove past your family home, and Chris pointed it out and said, "That's Davey's house. What a weird place to live." And I looked at it, and suddenly the lyrics to "Growing Up Absurd" kind of made sense to me. What can you tell us a bit about your family background in your early years?
Wow. Okay, I've got to think carefully here. The sisters in the audience. What can I say? Yeah, that was Avonmouth, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Which, for those of you who might not be from Bristol, that's kind of on the edges of the city. It's the Docklands area. What was it like? Well, because I'm pretty old, it was very different to what it is now. I suppose kind of in the 60s and the 70s, Avonmouth was actually quite an exciting place to grow up as a kid, because there wasn't any kind of parental responsibility. You could just walk out on a wasteland. They were building the motorway. There were lots of different sailors there as well. So there were people from all over. In some ways it was really exciting, because you could do things that unfortunately children can't do these days. You know, so in one way, and it was absurd. I think what Chris was referring to was probably first time he came to my house, and he knocked on the door. My dad answered.
Oh, no.
My dad just opened the door and didn't say anything. And Chris just stood there asking if I was in, and he walked away.
Was he a character, your dad? I know you referred to him.
Yeah, maybe we should leave it at that. Yeah.
And of course, the Corners formed. Was it when you were at school that you first formed the Corners? Was it a bit later than that?
It was a bit later. Me and Chris were in a band called the Hybrids. It was me, Chris, and a lad called Jimmy on drums. We were like a three-piece, and we used to rehearse in a scout hut in Lawrence Weston. And yeah, there was quite a long trajectory even before we got to the scout hut. There was a lot of learning involved. That was generally me watching Chris and a lad called Tim play guitar solos, and me just thinking, how do they do that? So what I did was, I couldn't compete with guitar solos. I just played chords, and then that's how I wrote songs.
So I remember I first became aware of the Brilliant Corners when my old friend, Mark Crew, Doc from Venue, sadly no longer with us, told me about this band that this really high energy band from Southmead, Lawrence Western area, called the Corners, Brilliant Corners, and he described it as a psychobilly band. But by the time I saw the Corners a few months later, you really weren't a psychobilly band at all. You were already very much in the indie tradition. Were you ever a punk or a psychobilly band, or was Doc just imagining that?
No, he wasn't imagining it. I think, again, thinking back to the kind of music I listened to in the sort of late 70s, mid to late 70s, early 80s, there was a real rapid development. Bands could be playing something for one style for a few months and then morph into something else, but everyone was soaking up a lot of very different influences and kind of exploring that, and I think that was a kind of good time because you could actually do what you wanted when you wanted. You weren't constrained by record labels or anything saying this is the sound, and the media weren't quite on it in the early 80s in that you had to conform to a certain kind of cool thing. You could be whatever you wanted, and I think for us, Dan, our trumpeter, had gone to Sussex to study chemistry, and we didn't have the trumpet anymore because before we were the psychobilly garage band, we were actually quite almost quite dancey. So we went from one thing to another, a rapid turn all the time.
I didn't, because of course then Dan returned later on, didn't he? Yeah. I never realised he was part of the original format.
Yeah, Dan was part of the original band, and even the first single we ever put out, She's Got Fever, he actually plays a real scorching trumpet solo on it. So, yeah, I don't think there was a lot of thought behind it. I think, actually, there was a lot of thought behind it. There was a lot of thought. I lie. It was quite contrived. We decided that we weren't going to be like a lot of the other Bristol sort of funky, more dance bands. We thought we want to be different, and that was it. We just decided to play about three chords.
Well, let's hear some of those three chords now from the very. Let's have a few of the.
I'm not sure if I can promise psychobilly, but we'll see.
Well, let's see where we go. Thank you, Davey.
You know there's a Q&A at the end as well, so if there's any burning questions, you can formulate them in your mind right now, can't you? So this one was probably our third single, I think. I don't condescend, well, I don't act the fool. When she came through that door, she was acting kind of cruel. She said she's disgusted by my ways and my lies. I'm dumb and I'm stupid and I don't realize. The drink caught some emotion when the breakdown comes. My baby's in black and she ain't coming back. Cash gives you confidence, that's what she's telling me. My mundanity puts me in this position when your best friend tells you that he's out of luck. Quite honestly, you don't care too much. Meanwhile at the kitchen sink, she sings something cool. My baby's in black and there's nothing I can do. This Bible-punching hero from the Republican world, does he sleep with a boy or does he sleep with a girl? Well, we couldn't see the truth as there was too much dust, and the talk in the pub was getting kind of rough. Gee, delay reactions for the 28th time. My baby's in black when I step out of line. My baby's in black. My baby's in black, my baby's in black, and she ain't coming back, no, she ain't coming back, no, she ain't coming back. Grown up absurd. Living by the dockside, I could see the cranes, bloody sailors and squinting neighbors who hide behind the curtains when they can't go to bingo and gossip about the strange things they see through their window. Carol's a slut, we've seen her do in the park, where we hide in the dark, drinking cider and stay by. We were young then and only dreamed about it, though we bragged to our friends about some kinky habit. Oh, whoa. We hated the vicar and his pristine roses. He hid in the closet, his feminine poses. We seen him with a tramp, his hands full of. We seen him with a tramp rolling in the mud. I hated school and all the teachers. I wanted a job as a communist preacher. They said I was stupid, no I couldn't do it with my CSC 3. I couldn't disagree. Or working men's clubs and skitters and darts and amateur strippers and hard-headed thugs, diamante earrings and red high heels, and most of your friends are detainees. By the age of 9, you feel resigned to follow the shadow of the washing line. Bartholomew's poems or the Daily Gazette, and all of us know things never get better. We hated the vicar and his pristine roses. He hid in the closet, his feminine poses. We seen him with a tramp, his hands full of. We seen him with a tramp rolling in the mud. And everyone goes where the beer goes, and everyone goes where the beer goes. This next song is called Teenage. I can't play it like how I originally played it because, it was very jaunty and fast, so now I play it a bit more unjaunty and slow. I'd like to take you out, but you might tell me no. To hold you in my arms and to kiss you sweetly, oh so sweetly. I'd like to make you bed and bring you cups of tea, to wash your clothes and scrub your back, but you won't let me, you won't let me. Nothing ever happens and I guess it never will. A young boy's passions can make him very ill. A tip in the suburb, there's a heart that's used to the grind and the waste and parental distaste. Well, I'd like to take you out, but you might tell me no. To hold you in my arms and to kiss you sweetly, oh so sweetly. I like to make your bed, bring you cups of tea, wash your clothes and scrub your back, but you won't let me, you won't let me. Oh, nothing ever happens, and I guess it never will. All a young boy's passions can make him very ill. On a tip in the suburb, there's a heart that's used to the grime and the waste and parental distaste. Well, I like to take you out, but you might tell me no.
Thank you very much, Davey. So, you only reminded me of this earlier on, actually, as we were chatting about the chronology. And of course, while the Corners were still going and enjoying great success as an indie band, there was, you suddenly went off and formed Spaceways, or played in Spaceways, which was an avant-garde jazz band. Why did you do that?
Well, I guess most people in indie bands have an avant-garde jazz band somewhere in the background. They all do, don't they?
Well, maybe, yeah. And of course, is jazz something which is important to you? Of course, the name The Brilliant Corners comes from a Thelonious Monk track, doesn't it?
I think jazz is a weird thing. I've discovered over the years that a lot of women run away from you if you say you like jazz. I don't know why. I know there's a few women in the audience, but let's face it, you really hate your partner's jazz records, don't you? There was always something about the more... there was something that appealed to me about different kinds of jazz that I'd heard over the years. I think when I was in my late teens, I didn't understand it. When I was in my early 20s, I started beginning to get into some of it. And I think it either works for people or doesn't. And I would urge anyone who's not into modernist jazz or contemporary jazz to just go back and have another listen, because sometimes it just clicks. I'm not really answering your question there, am I? I'm kind of talking about jazz generally.
I remember seeing you at Ashton Court a couple of times, Ashton Court Festival, and you were quite a spectacle, Spaceways. It was a really sort of it was really out there, wasn't it? It was a very sort of big performance and very surreal and avant-garde. Yeah. Very, very different to anything else which was going on at the time, locally anyway.
I think also originally Spaceways was formed by me, Dan, our trumpeter from the Corners, Keith playing drums, Steve, who's now in the Winter Orphans. So there were people from lots of different musical backgrounds, but the idea was it was almost capturing a punk thing of you can just kind of make noise and kind of make it, I don't know, the freedom to do something. And I think also I'd kind of, with the Corners, it's so song-orientated. For me, I played bass in Spaceways. The Corners is so song-orientated, whereas I had the freedom to just kind of improvise and do different stuff. So we did stuff for quite a long time. Yeah, on and off, and the band kind of went about 10, almost 20 of us, and then shrunk down again. Yeah.
And then of course, in the early 90s, the Corners came to an end. I've never actually asked you about the final days or years of the Corners. What happened? Why did you decide to pack it in? Why did you split?
We had our houses in Spain, the villas in Spain. we tax reasons, of course. It was, that was the reason. In fact, my ex-accountant's in here. Peter's here somewhere. He could tell me. What? Yeah, it's a strange one. There was no big moment. It kind of... I think for me, maybe... I did cancel a whole tour, actually. I did. That sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Like, there wasn't a spark like it's got to end. I think it just kind of felt... we'd gone as far as we could go, really. And I think when we'd been in each other's pockets for like a decade.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we grew up and we were a gang and we'd socialised. We did everything together in that classic band as a gang kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And after a decade of being in backs of transits and, all the stuff that goes on, you kind of think, maybe a change.
But you didn't. You got back in the transit pretty quickly afterwards, which was the experimental pop band. Very, very different band. Although Chris joined you in the experimental pop band, and Corin as well. Corin. Yeah. Was it the three of you initially, or
it was? Yeah. It was the three of us initially, and it wasn't too good. And that evolved. Strangely enough, that evolved with. I can see Paul sat here. Paul has a part to play in that.
Well, a big part.
That we used to rent space off Paul in his kind of rehearsal studios, and me and Chris had like a little rudimentary recording equipment there along with Corin, and we just used to record stuff. But at that same time, I suppose about 92, 93, we were also wanted to put bands on, and me, Paul and Chris were putting bands on, and we were running clubs. We had a club called The Trip, which was a kind of retro 60s garage kind of club. We had another club on a Saturday night, which was more funk, hip-hop kind of stuff. And we did that for about, I don't know, several years, religiously, every Friday and Saturday. And that kind of had a big influence on the experimental pop band in its early stages, because I kind of fell in love with records again, and went back to my record collection and just thought, oh, that's amazing, let's play it, that's amazing, let's play it.
Yeah.
So the pop band evolved out of that, actually, more than anything. I think.
Yeah. Well, let's hear a few tracks.
They're all samples. How do I do songs without samples? I've had to choose the more songy ones, I think. It's quite complicated. So. How does it feel being an audience watching this, and it's not like in a bar and lots of noise? It's kind of very different, isn't it? It's very different. It's kind of I feel maybe I should be reading a recital or just doing something. With his cactus smile, met him by the river near the icy eye. Wearing plastic rings, she had a feather cut. PVC, not leather, cause it costs too much. Left the flat that's yellow, cause it's always yellow. Called a train to London, met a boy from Clapham. Went to watch his band play while they're dressed in satin. When she said she loved him, she was only joking. Boutique in my backyard, boutique in my backyard, boutique in my backyard. I don't like to travel too far, just me in my backyard. Got a train to London, met a boy from Clapham. Went to watch his band play while they're just in satin. Boutique in my backyard, boutique in my backyard, boutique in my backyard. I don't like to travel too far, just me in my backyard. Gone right to Belgium with this other guy. Saw her wings flutter, she flew on by. Now she's modeling dresses for a name I can't pronounce. Goes on dinner dates with dukes and counts. Caught a plane to New York, she met Calvin Klein. Her body's on a poster as big as Times Square. Sometimes when I'm down, I think I could have been there, but I'm in my backyard drinking warm beer. Boutique in my backyard. Boutique in my backyard. Boutique in my backyard. I don't like to travel too far. Just me in my backyard. Oh, just me in my backyard. Just me in my backyard. Thank you. I am gorgeous, see how I smile. You must be mad, I don't look foul. All these colds make me thinner. I am becoming skinnier and skinnier, skinnier and skinnier. This is the way that you left me. I am gorgeous, see how I smile. You must be mad, I don't look foul. All these colds make me thinner. I am becoming skinnier and skinnier, skinnier and skinnier. No. No. This is the way that you left me. This is the way that you left me. I am gorgeous, see how I smile. You must be mad, I don't look vile. 4 grams of coke, I still feel tired. 4 grams of coke, I still feel tired. No. This is the way that you left me. This is the way that you left me. Jody thinks she's got cancer because she's looking very thin. She sticks out amongst the dancers, she's the only one smoking. Every day's a heartache, every day's a drag. Even though they're always laughing, they stab each other in the back. She don't care if they think she's easy, she don't care if they think she's bad. Wait till we get home, baby, then his hands inside her pants. It's not exactly Mills and Boone, but you could say it's romance. The DJs are pathetic, more of that boy, girl, boy cry. Well, Jody, stop listening. She takes him back to the flat. She don't care if they think she's easy. She don't care if they think she's bad. Wait till we get home, baby. Then you will see some maybe. Wait till we get home, maybe. Then you will see some maybe. She don't care if they think she's easy. She don't care if they think she's bad. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Davey. So, the experimental pop band was actually quite a long part of your musical life, wasn't it? It was more than 10 years, I think, you were the band were together.
Yeah, I think about 15.
Yeah. I didn't realise that actually until I was looking back. So, but then when you eventually split up, you formed two bands, not one but two, Karen and the Winter Orphans. Was it at the same time, or did one come?
Well, Karen came first.
Let's talk a bit about Karen, because we're going to have a few Karen tracks.
Yeah. So, all right. So experimental pop band were around for a while. Karen came about, I guess. That's so difficult to think how we came about.
Was it immediately after the experimental pop band?
No, it wasn't immediately. There was a break, and I think it was me thinking I wanted to get back into doing songs. I think there was a break. I decided I wanted to get back together, but there's a whole story about Karen. Oh, I meant to be telling the whole story about Karen. That's why I'm here. Yeah, the whole story about Karen. Well, I might get into litigation territory here. We recorded a whole album which got shelved. We couldn't release the album for lots of strange reasons. So there's a whole album of Karen material which we spent about a year recording, and for complex reasons we couldn't put that album out and never will. And I think for me, Tom and Hugo and the band, that was quite really difficult. And I think I need, as an antidote through all the work we'd done recording that album and slaving over it for hours and hours, I thought I just want to go in the studio and record some songs really, really quickly. And that's how the Winter Orphans came about.
Right.
So it was kind of just keeping me sane, really, sort of thinking, I don't want to think about all that Karen stuff right now. Let's distract, let's just go in there. And the Winter Orphans album, that's up there, along with a lot of other stuff, if you want to buy stuff after the gig.
That's the merch, ladies and gentlemen.
Plug. That was recorded really quickly. I kind of wrote the songs in... Yeah, I write songs really quickly anyway. I'm not a Leonard Cohen. I don't take 2 years to write a song. It's about 2 minutes.
So that's intriguing. There's a whole body of Davey Woodward work which we will never hear. Karen.
Yeah. But I suppose these days the main difference between the Karen stuff and the Orphan stuff is, I think now with Karen I'm trying to make it much more the harder edge stuff, the more electric stuff, and maybe the Winter Orphan stuff is a bit more folky.
But absolutely. Well, look, let's hear a few Karen tracks.
Karen tracks, right? How do I replicate a power trio? How does one do that? All right, I've got a fuzz box. Just going to check my tuning. So I'm professional now, and I do that. Back in the old days, when I first started playing guitar, the only way you could tune a guitar up was with these weird little pipes that you had to blow into. So you get you blow into a pipe, and you blow into the pipe, and you have to remember what the pipe sounds like. I never really perfected how you tune a guitar up and you blow into the pipe. Then they invented these things. Which still takes me time. I think that's more or less it. Oh, that sounds like noise. The bears are watching me as I'm watching my TV. The hunters are watching them, and the cops are around the bend. I'm held up in this shack, well, I'm never going back. Took a little money, well, no one calls me honey. Well, I don't like leaving the woods, even if I could. Well, I don't like leaving the woods, even if I could. Well, I wouldn't. Oh, no, no. The bears are watching me as I'm watching my TV. The hunters are watching them, and the cops are around the bend. I'm held up in this shack, well, I'm never going back. Took a little money, well, no one calls me honey. Well, I don't like leaving the woods, even if I could. Well, I don't like leaving the woods, even if I could. Well, I wouldn't. Oh, no, no. The glowing lights look so far, trapped beneath the clouds. I'll meet you by the bar. I'll get to you somehow, won't pass you by. The tide is getting high, these words cannot describe. I said, hey, well, I let you into my heart. I said, hey, now things have gone too far. I said, hey, well, I let you into my heart. I said, hey, now things have gone too far. The glowing lights look so far, trapped beneath the clouds. I'll meet you by the bar. I'll get to you somehow, won't pass you by. The tide is getting high, these which words cannot describe. I said, hey, well, I let you into my heart. I said, hey, now things have gone too far. I said, hey, well, I let you into my heart. I said, hey, now things have gone too far. I was born in a caravan just outside Seville Beach, the kind of beach where no one swims and the seagulls refuse to eat. Killing eels, avoiding work under industrial clouds, sniffing glue under the slide with the tramps by my side. There's a glow that makes you satisfied. There's a no that makes you wanna hide. The shallow tide that makes things right under the estuary lights. Got my head kicked in on the bus coming home from town. Blood all over the pillowcase and the eider-down. My 30-watt Fender amp in a room that smells of damp. I got my shades and 3-chord sound like the velvet underground. There's a glow that makes you satisfied. There's a no that makes you wanna hide. The shallow tide that makes things right under the estuary lights. Skinny girls who don't wear bras dressed in Oxford bags. Me, I've got my drain pipes and I don't look too bad. Well, I don't look too bad. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. Oh, too bad. Oh, too bad. Too bad. Oh, too bad. Oh, too bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Davey. Thank you very much. So there's a lot of nostalgia in your work, isn't there? I was only listening to it all, sort of looking back on it from beginning all the way through. It's a lot about growing up. Is that something you're conscious of, or does it just happen that way? I was thinking about Estuary and Growing Up Absurd, and then some of the later Winter Orphan stuff as well.
I guess there's a bit of a thread. There's always certain songs that are a thread of growing up or looking back. And I guess as you get older, you tend to look back.
Not necessarily
rather than forward. There's less of forward, isn't there? That there's only like maybe 3 years, isn't there?
Well, on that cheerful, mate. That's on that
3 or 4 years. I mean, looking at the audience, maybe even less than that for some of you. Maybe a year. Yeah. Don't really want to point anyone out, but
On that cheerful note, let's talk a little bit about the Winter Orphan.
I'll tune up while we're doing this.
The Winter Orphans. So we talked about how, which I wasn't aware of actually, how the Winter Orphans were almost like an antidote for for the frustrations of the Karen work. But very, very different bands, aren't they? I mean, to me, there's more of a sort of folk feel to the Winter Orphans. Is that something you'd agree with?
Yeah, I think so. And again, the thing you point out, Richard, of this thread of lyrically looking back a bit, also musically with the Winter Orphans, there's some bits like people who are familiar with the Brilliant Corners will realise there's a bit of a sort of country, folky thing going on there. There always was on the albums. There'd be 2 or 3 songs like that. Well, even with the experimental pop band, for that matter, there'd always be maybe a song like that. So with the Winter Orphans, it's not that radical in that respect. But also, I think, maybe as you do get older, you get a bit more reflective and you want to play quieter stuff, but not all the time. Not all the time.
Where does the name come from? Is there a particular story behind that?
No. I had a list of like really good names, which most of the band thought were terrible, and then they agreed that Winter Orphans were. I'm trying to think what the other names were. You know, maybe we should have been called something else. I think there was something like In the Wardrobe or something. no one liked that. Yeah, it could have been Davey Woodward In the Wardrobe.
In the Wardrobe, yeah.
Could have been.
And so what we're going to do is Davey's going to play some Winter Orphans tracks. So we're going to throw it open for any questions you've got, and then we'll finish with some final music.
Oh, right. So is it the Q&A now?
No, it's we'll have the Winter Orphans, and we'll have so people you can prepare those carefully crafted and maybe embarrassing questions that you'd like to ask Davey. You can probe after the Winter Orphans tracks.
Yes. I'm really trying to think what was on that list of band names. I did have a band for about one gig called the Wives of Earl. I don't know if anyone ever came to that gig, but we were the Wives of Earl once. You can while away hours in a pub. Men in pubs are actually just thinking of band names, constantly thinking of band names. You see them crowded around, they're not actually talking about anything other than, what can we call our band? And that's like about 8 hours in a pub. You haven't asked me about politics, Richard.
Well, I was hoping the audience might.
Oh, all right, okay. I'm a little off color, but my function's very true. I've been traveling for light years past many lonesome moons just to get to you. Tracked us on your radar from the canyons beneath the seas. When we finally get here, there's not much we like to see. Oh no, there's not much we like to see. Well, your protesters, they say they like us. Your politicians, they deny our very existence. So we'll have to be more persistent. Float on past your window, watch you with someone else's wife. Don't think once, well, don't think twice. Well, I don't know what to do. No, I don't know what to do. I'm a little off color, but my function's very true. I've been traveling for light years, past many lonesome moons, just to get to you. Your protesters, they say they like us. Your politicians, they deny our very existence. So we'll have to be more persistent. This next song's called Caroline. She got into the car. She knew the man dressed in brown disappeared into the leaves. Her winter coat lay on the ground. The moon was bright so round. The blue swirling lights. The adults fall to the ground. I don't make a sound. Caroline's missing, they said. I was 10, you were 8. Told us not to go out the gate. I always broke the rules. Let's go swimming in copper pools, down the subway through the fields, burn out cars and climbing trees, smashing bottles, feeling free. I guess the tramps are missing me. Caroline's missing, they said. She got into the car. She knew the man dressed in brown disappeared into the leaves. Her winter coat lay on the ground. The moon was bright so round. The blue swirling lights. The adults fall to the ground. I don't make a sound. Caroline's missing, they said. Another power cut has left you feeling blue. We forget we sent a man to walk on the moon. A hat disguises my watering eyes. He was given 4 months to stay alive. Sat in the bar near the bus station when I was told. In an instant I was prematurely old. And his girlfriend, who has problems of her own, cried in the glass until the alcohol took hold. She was wailing and laughing at the darkest of times. I don't know if it's fortitude or the state of her mind. Wake up in the morning with a perfume on my pillow. Go to the bathroom and there's a brush with her hair. While my best friend's laid out on a hospital bed, she talks to me about her aching head. My horoscope didn't reveal I get things that's wrong. Well, sure as hell, no, he won't have long. The sanitizer masks the smell of sick. In the cardboard bowl laid beside the sink, she was wailing and laughing at the darkest of times. I don't know if it's fortitude or the state of her mind. They can't do anything. Let the morphine take hold. They can't do anything. Let the morphine take hold. Let it take hold. Another power cut has left you feeling blue. We forget we sent a man to walk on the moon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Davey. Right then, so over to you. Who's got quite a question for Davey? Where shall we start? Just put your hands in the air if you'd like to ask Davey a question.
Oh, that's easy.
Oh,
there's a question. I thought I was going to start playing music again. All right, fire away.
You've got an amazing body of work over many.
I thought you were going to say body, and just. Can we just leave it at that? You've got an amazing body. That's great.
But that would ruin the rest of the question.
Okay.
So, as a fan, I've got songs that particularly resonate with me and that I like to play and listen to. I was wondering if there are songs that you are particularly fond of within that big back catalogue.
Well, I guess some of the ones I played today, because kind of when I knew I was doing this, I was obviously going to play stuff from the back catalogue. I mean, I wouldn't say some of these were my favourites because I just wanted them to kind of work as a whole, you know. I'm just trying to think, favourite songs from the back catalogue. Probably easier to sort of think of them as albums. I really like the Growing Up Absurd album. That was one of my favourite Corners albums. Meet Me on Tuesdays EP with the experimental pop band. I think some of our latter albums that people didn't. I think people heard a lot about the pop band when we were on City Slang, and then when we were kind of turfed off for not selling enough records, as it happens. Some of the albums we made after that were really good. I think our last album was really good, Vertigo. But yeah, pulling out a particular song's really, really difficult. Really difficult. But hopefully that gave you a few pointers.
Right, who's next? Anyone else got a question for Davey? From the whole canon of his work? Yes, sir.
Who would you say have been your famous musical influences? Which artists
God,
would you...
famous musical influences. Wow. I think that changes. I think the first. If I think the first record I bought, I think was probably Jean Genie by David Bowie, and then that kind of glam rock stuff was the first thing that I was into. But that very, very quickly turned into punk. But in between that, the first gigs I went to, the first gig I went to was a band. Can anyone remember a band called Barclay James Harvest? Yeah. So that doesn't really fit in with with where I. There were kind of wilderness years in the 70s for young people. If you weren't quite old enough sometimes to get into gigs, but then the gigs that you did get into were like the Colston Hall, and it was still very much that kind of prog rock and strange metal bands like Uriah Heep, and I can remember seeing things like that. And then it quickly turned into Dr. Feelgood and The Damned and punk, literally in the space of a few months. So all those things, in a weird way, are influences, I think. And oddly enough, I think I was in my early 20s when some of the kind of, the gods of music, the Velvet Underground or Bob Dylan, and I came quite late to those bands. Yeah, well, I think particularly with the harmonica numbers, maybe. But I think, I was much more older when that became a thing, because I certainly didn't get Bob Dylan when I was 14 or 15. I didn't understand it at all. But by 21, suddenly it was, how come I didn't understand that? That's amazing. So there is something about where you're at and how old you are, I think.
The other question about just for the can
is he allowed 2 questions?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
you know, when you do a program where they were talking about the Kinks and
The Kinks.
their songs, they're in the Waterloo Sunset. There is a Terry and Judy, and they even. But,
Terence Stamp.
Yeah, but when you write your songs and you name people, are there actually real people or fiction?
Whoa.
Is that a bit too near bang?
Well.
Because like the lady.
Well.
The lady who was smoking cigarettes. For
Yes.
did you know
Jodie.
somebody at the time
Who
like
did that? Absolutely, yeah.
I thought that.
And
because it gets intensely personal, and you don't really want to drop the person's name if you know them, do you?
no, definitely not. Not particularly if you live with them. It could be really difficult, couldn't it? It might be a little bit. Yeah. Could get quite tricky then, couldn't it? But yeah, I think there's always that thing of what is the creation and what is real, and it's a mixture.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's a mixture.
It's got to be there to start with, doesn't it?
Sometimes, or the song I did, Boutique in My Backyard, I don't know anyone who went to New York and was on a poster for Calvin Klein, but yeah.
That was one of the things that was like, but did you have a backyard? I was thinking that.
Oh, I had a backyard, and I did drink warm beer in it, but the character is completely made up.
We've got time for a couple more questions before Davey plays us out. Yes, sir.
Dave, I was wondering if you have any insights on fronting a band, and are you getting any better at it?
Insight on fronting a band. I think fronting a band is kind of making sure that everybody else in the band is in an optimistic mood and not nervous. I think it's a bit like how Pep Guardiola is with Man City. He's kind of arm around them. Are you all right? don't worry if it's out of tune. Hey, amps, don't worry about it. You know, who cares about the amp? Don't worry about 3 people in the audience. Don't worry about it. It's good. We're going to be at the top. We didn't get paid. Don't worry about it. You know, we never get paid. We never get paid. It should be no beer. No, there's no beer. There's no sandwiches. Didn't you bring your own? You know, you just can't. It's love. It's spreading some love. That's what you do when you front a band.
Anyone else? Anyone else got a question for Davey? Oh yeah, here we are.
1 minute you're a youngster writing lyrics, there's 4 or 5 here, all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
When did it hit you that people wanted to actually listen to you?
Oh, right.
National and stuff like that.
It was interesting because I think you're referring to Brilliant Corners. When we were all together, at quite an early stage, there was something that I couldn't define, but about us having something that I thought people would be interested in. So it wasn't about the songs, it wasn't about the music, but I knew together, if we worked at it for a while, and for a while turned out to be about 6 months before we put something out, I think, that it might capture people's imagination. It's hard to explain. You just have a feeling, an instinct that, with this group of people, something would happen. But it did take a lot of gigs. We used to go up to London and play countless gigs before we ever got our first NME interview. And back then you could kind of do that. Yeah, there are moments, and there's moments when you might write a tune and you think, actually, someone might be interested in that other than just me.
Was there a point where, say, Janice Long or John Peel played it and it was like, really?
Yeah, definitely. I mustn't forget John Peel and people like Janice Long. The first single we ever put out, actually, we printed those sleeves ourselves. We got glue all over the actual record, so half of them were unplayable. We took them into Revolver Records. They said they'd sell them for us. Me and Chris caught the national coach down to London. That's in the days when you could ring a bell off Wardour Street, which had the words NME written on it, and they'd actually let you into the building. And I think it was Danny Baker we gave our first single to, and he didn't look like it. We thought all journalists wore leather jackets and were very skinny. He looked like he worked in a butcher's shop. And just didn't quite work. Me and Chris were really nervous. And, we gave a single and then we sent one. Yeah, on that very day, we went to the BBC. Again, in the days when you could go, is John Peel there? No, he's out having a curry. Oh, can we leave this for him? You can't do that now. Left him the single, and I think he played it that night. And the NME reviewed it a few weeks later, and so, that's when you think, wow, because I've been listening to John Peel for years, so that moment is electrifying, and I hope that people in bands these days have those electrifying moments as well. It's not just a kind of career trajectory. We played 50 gigs, then we put out this single, then we do that. Maybe that naive world's gone. I don't know. But yeah. Am I rabbiting on too much?
No, this is really interesting stuff. Is anyone else? Anyone else got at the back there?
What was the first song that you made?
I think that's my son. What was the first song I made? Well, shall I play you the first song I made? I'll do it. Very first song I made. Custard, mustard, how do you know which is which? They're both yellow, put them in a dish. Which one should I choose? Which is which? Well, I'm confused. Custard, mustard, how do you know which is which? Well, they're both yellow, put them in a dish. I'm confused. Which is which? Well, which one should I use? Toby, how many minutes?
We've got about 10 minutes left.
10
So
minutes.
do you want to play? Oh, shall I ask you about the politics?
Oh, you don't have to.
No, okay. Well, if you feel moved, you can tell us about the politics at the end. It's, yeah, well, do you want to play us out, David? We've got about 10 minutes left, so choose a selection to play us out.
Should I do something that's recorded, or should I do just something completely new in my head? Oh, I can barely remember that. What was that? Something recorded or something in my head?
In your head.
In my head. All right. I'm all right. Yes. I'm walking through the city, there's no one by my side. I can't stop fidgeting, I go back in time. Cassette tapes, moose, and cigarettes, or bondage trousers and epaulets. I wasn't so lonely in retrospect, when you're over 40 and you're still in debt. The landlord's moaning and I'm moaning at him. Since when did Buns have trendy for selling gin? I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. Go to Ashton Gate, they lost it by halftime. I didn't pay the council tax, I get another fine. The food bank's closed, well my toenail broke. My diet's all shot and my family lost hope. The clouds are cold on me, I'm soaking wet. There's hardly any traffic, well I haven't slept. Nerve gas poisons the Soviets. In the business of protection, it's who pays the best. I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. An anarchist poster from 84. A drawer full of dreams, a bag full of sores. Nobody visits, I'd like someone to stay in my single bed with my microwave. I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. We're having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. We're having a bad day. You're having a bad day. Everyone's having a bad day. We're running out of time, aren't we? Shall I do one more?
Yeah, I've got time.
Windmill Hill dressed in a fake fur coat. It might be cold, but we rolled down that slope. One bedroom flat and a mirror ball. I was a strange guy who lived down the hall. 1950s polka dot dress. You show me guitar licks and I'm impressed. Black eyeliner and red lipstick. Her fingers stretch like elastic. Of course I was enthralled. Dylan's posters on the wall. I don't make the same mistake twice. Asked me to join the band. Every song's in the key of C. Lyrics about breaking up. and the road to recovery. She reads books by Philip K. Dick. I don't know many girls who do that. All of the mystery train. Meanwhile I'm lying on my back. Of course I was enthralled. Dealers' posters on the wall. I don't make the same mistake twice. Cause I was in fraud, dealers' posters on the wall. I don't make the same mistake twice. Windmill Hill dressed in a faint fur coat. It might be cold, but we roll down that slope. One bedroom flat and a mirror ball. I was a strange guy who lived down the hall. 1950s polka dot dress. You show me guitar licks and I'm impressed. Black eyeliner and red lipstick. Her fingers stretch like elastic. Cause I was in fraud. Dealers' posters on the wall. I don't make the same mistake twice. That's that. Well, it's been a kind of interesting experience. This. I hope you've enjoyed it. I kind of enjoyed it. Like when I relaxed, I enjoyed it. It was all right. It was all right. I thought there were going to be a lot more difficult questions, actually. Yeah. I feel cheated, actually. I feel cheated. The questions were lousy, actually. Why weren't there, real kind of cutting-edge questions? I'm going to give you one more chance. Someone, cutting-edge question. Come on. Oh. Custard or mustard? Actually, mustard for me. Mustard, for sure. Right. I'm going to do a very short number. It goes like this, I think. Say that you want me, you want me, you want me. Say that you need me, you need me, you need me. Say that you love me, you love me, you love me. Then you can go, then you can go. Say that you want me, you want me, you want me. Say that you need me, you need me, you need me. Say that you love me, you love me, you love me. Then you can go, then you can go. Say that you want me, you want me, you want me. Say that you need me, you need me, you need me. Say that you love me, you love me, you love me. Then you can go, then you can go, then you can go, then you can go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We've got some merchandise at the back, which Davey, I'm sure, will be delighted to sign or to talk to you about. And thank you very much for coming. Remember those dates. Check out the website for other events here at the Listening Room. And let's hear it one more time for the wonderful Davey Woodward.